What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Jay Walk, No Ticket. I got a very, very special guest, Jordan Sutherland. How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, brother. Appreciate you. Man, we in Chicago with it. I'm here for the Bulls Fest. My man's hit me up. Been tapped in ever since I met him, and his interview was just a matter of time. So now we here.
Yeah, we here, man. I appreciate you for messing with me. We met at the Buckets for Bully event. Yeah.
Something just positive for the kids. That's all what I'm about. That's a lot of what y'all gonna find out in this interview is just a lot about me, what I'm about, what I want to do with this dunk game. So that's why I feel like you the perfect person to interview me for this.
Appreciate that. So I want to talk a little bit more about your backstory. How did all this come about? Like, when did you first realize you have a special talent with the basketball?
So my dad put a basketball in my hands when I was 2 years old. So it was one of them stories. You grow up hooping, playing in all the rec leagues, playing AAU ball. But in high school, politics came into play. So it was one of them situations where my coach telling me I'm good enough, but he ain't got a spot for me because parents is putting more money in the PTA. And then it was a whole little thing. My mom was actually a teacher in the system. She taught at elementary school. And being one of the best black teachers in the school district, they didn't like her. Like she won Teacher of the Year a couple times. She was supposed to win it more than she actually won it. There's a lot of politics. I actually got kicked out of that school system in first grade because when you a kid, you emulate your parents. So I'm in school, I'm doing all the work because I know all the work. My mama giving it to me, and then I'm trying to help the kids like a teacher would. They isolated me, like they put me in a corner by myself. And my mama wasn't having that. So it was just like, why none of the white kids in the corner? Why none of these kids in the corner? And it didn't make sense to her. So she went off, then she fell out with the principal, and it was a whole thing. And that kind of like started this whole cycle of like being in that Marietta City school system. It was tough for me.
Where you grew up at?
Marietta, Georgia.
Okay.
Born and raised in Marietta, Georgia, man.
How far is that from Atlanta?
Maybe 20, 30 minutes. It's the north side of Atlanta. Like when the Migos say north side, they from like they literally like 15 minutes from Marietta type stuff. Like we the outskirts of Atlanta, so it's like we rep Atlanta. I was born at Northside Hospital in Atlanta. My sisters grew up in Decatur. Like I've been around Atlanta my whole life. Like east side, west side, like Bankhead, all that. I've been through all of Atlanta, but I'm just a Marietta boy. That's why when you see my fam hoodie, it's the Falcons, it's the Atlanta logo, but that M is the Marietta High School logo. So I still rep Marietta at all times, but I'm still an Atlanta boy. Like I'm Atlanta made. Like
so you keep a piece of all your history, like basically with you at all times.
At all times, like is this on this side or what's this side? Yeah. So this right here, Forever Friday. That's my coach in high school that actually passed away. He was a football coach, but also my PE coach. But he got me in the track, which ended up getting me into the whole dunk world because, like I was saying, I didn't hoop. I didn't hoop all 4 years of high school. Like, coach, I made the second cuts every time. Even the players on the other team was like, we can't wait to play with you. Because at the time, I was shorter. I came into high school 5'6", 90 pounds soaking wet. So I was just a point guard, like a shooter, sniper. I could dunk, though.
At 5'6"?
I got my first dunk at age 13. So 8th grade. My dad was a leaper back in the day. He was like in that era of he was watching Julius Erving and David Thompson and all like those guys growing up. So my dad was only like 5'10". He got a picture booming on the dude sideways like that. So it's always been instilled in me. And then my granddad, actually from Chicago, from the south side, 94th and Wallace, I get my height from him. Mm-hmm. So he was about 6'4", 6'5", so I got my height from him and my bounce from my dad. So God kind of knew what he was doing, like putting that whole package together. And then when it came to high school and doing high jump, because I couldn't hoop, Coach Friday was like, you need to get a scholarship. Like, education is important. My mom being a teacher, you know she gonna be on me. So she like, look, what you gonna do? You not hooping no more, so what you gonna do after high school? And I'm trying to figure it out. And you know, one thing I want to tell the kids too, that's why I'm looking at the camera on this, don't let high school determine who you gonna be as an adult, because it doesn't matter in the grand scheme. Get your education, learn what you're supposed to learn, make your friends, but understand high school is not the end all be all. Like, this is not finna end your life. It doesn't determine the rest of your life. So don't let high school be the determining factor of who you are, because we know so many people now that we adults who peaked in high school because they thought that was it. They thought high school was the pinnacle of what they were supposed to do, so they peaked. Like, you may have had a dream and a passion, but because you feel like high school was it and you'll never get that energy that you got back from high school, you end up not following it. So that's why that's why I put this on my merch, and they say Forever Friday. His name was James Friday. Like, when he got me on that track, it kind of renewed, like, there is life after high school. Like, you do have something to do after this. And even though I didn't continue with track was one of the greatest things I ever did. It taught me how to jump. Track taught me how to jump. Like, I tell a lot of, like, the basketball players I train.
Too, bro. I did track. I did one meet, and I had some hooping shoes on. And worst idea ever. I take off. I'm flying around the whole course. I get to the very end. Everybody passed me except the last dude. I was like, what in the hell? How did all these people just get past me? I just took off, and they still caught up with me. I'm like, man, that is crazy. I'm like, I ain't doing this no more.
I had a similar story. So when I started track my junior year, all I know was the 100-meter dash and long jump. That is the only thing I had ever seen in track.
Yeah.
And then I think I seen like shot put and javelin, but that was for the big dudes. So I'm like, that ain't for me.
Right.
So I went out there. They threw me in everything, trying to figure out what I was good at. And it's crazy because what I actually was good at, I didn't get to do to my senior year. So they threw me in the long jump, triple jump, and they threw me in the 400 meters. I didn't know what the 400 meters was. I know the 100. You run that straight line, that's it. I took off around that curve. I look back, ain't nobody with me. I'm like, oh, this easy. I get to the next one. I'm like, all right, they catching up. By the time I got to that last leg, you couldn't tell me I crawled across that line. Like, I was out of it. I'm like, don't put me in no running events.
I need you to shorten the sprint.
Yeah, like shorten that up. So then that was my junior year, just doing that. I was really just doing it. You in high school, you doing it to be around the girls, you doing it to be social. So that's really what I started doing it for my junior year, and to get a Letterman jacket. Like, you want that Letterman jacket. Letterman jacket. But senior year, I took it most serious. I'm like, this is my last year. I want to make varsity. Like, I want to do everything. Like, I want to get my varsity letter. I want to get my my Letterman jacket. And they put me in high jump. And the first time I jumped in high jump, like the first day they ever had me jump, I jumped 6'2". That ain't normal. And that's when I got, like, because I knew I had bounce because I had been dunking already. Like, I was windmilling by my junior year, so I'm like, all right, I know I got bounce.
Gym class, I bet you used to put on the show, especially.
Man, I got videos in my phone right now in high school. I'm throwing it off the wall, catching it, a bunch of stuff, and it's crazy because my Coach Friday, he right there, like, he seen me doing all them dunks. He was like, boy, if I don't put you in track or something, I'ma regret it. Cause he like, you need to show your talent to the world. Like, this not normal how you jump. Like, it's never been normal for what I've done off one foot. And he's seen that potential very early. So doing high jump my senior year, I was all county, all state. I got third in state. I was second in county. I was second in region. And that was just 1 year doing it. So I'm like, if y'all would have put me in it last year, I know I would have been cold. Like,
this freshman year, it would have been a wrap.
And then this is why I tell kids high school ain't the peak. So we get into the summer, I done went crazy. I'm like, oh, I'm finna get a scholarship. The politics come back into play. I found out my high school coach was telling the college coaches, I don't think he takes it serious because I'm an outgoing person. I've always been goofy. My mama always said I've been an entertainer. I watched the comedians growing up. My mama would play the Eddie Murphys and the Richard Pryors.
I hate that when people just so quick to put a stigma on you because you got a very glowing personality. You're not scared to be yourself in rooms that people are scared to be themselves. So now they look at you as like this and this and that. I had that same stigma on me before, and then when people get to know you, like, oh, I see what you really be doing. Like, little do you know, you've been training for this your whole life. Like, your whole life. And so all that stuff you was doing wasn't work for you. It was fun.
Yeah.
And that threw him off like, man, you know what? Maybe he don't take this serious. No. Let me double back. Like, this man's been doing this forever.
That's why Coach Friday was the best coach, because he cared. It was students that had no business getting scholarships. He made sure they went to a junior college, and they may not have continued to play football or basketball, whatever sport he got them in.
But he set them up to be able
to be able to go to college, and then they got to better their lives through that.
And that's amazing. You have them teachers that be able to believe in you, them coaches that believe in you, and make you look at things possible. And when you see things as possible, you can go forward with them.
You can go anywhere you want. As long as you believe that you can do it, it's no limit to what you can do. And especially when you got somebody backing you, because in high school, your mind gets filled with so much doubt. Is people better than you? Is people more athletic, or whatever the case may be? Or some people that you know is not better than you, but they farther than you. And you trying to, even to this day, like, it's still like that. So you try to figure that out. But after high school, I found out he withheld maybe 20 plus D1 scholarships for me. And I only found out because I wasn't even thinking about going D1. I was trying to go to HBCU, stay in Georgia. So I went to a college visit at Albany State. And he said, I called you, coach. He said you didn't take the sport serious or whatever the case. And he was like, he didn't think it was worthy of giving you a scholarship.
Coach Friday, is it?
No, Coach Friday.
It don't seem like something Coach Friday would do.
So I don't want to give him or the high school coach that cut me any clout, but Coach L and Coach H, like, both of them, they was bad. Like, they both end up getting fired years later, like, because they cut so many great players because they had this image of what they wanted their star athletes to be. Like, one of the guys that played on my high school basketball team, he was nice. He was a shooter. He was nice, but his sport was baseball. And you may know him. He played for the Cubs now.
Oh.
Dansby Swanson.
Okay.
That's my high school classmate. Like, we was in the same advisement class and everything.
Wow.
So it's like they built him up to be Mr. MHS, was, you got the misters of the school. Like, when it was his senior year, they built him up to be that. And it come years later, I had a good conversation with him. He was like, man, I ain't really want to hoop like that. I didn't want to get hurt for baseball. Like, baseball was everything to him. So it was like they was creating these athletes that didn't want to do it. Another one, we had a former LSU quarterback, Anthony Jennings. He didn't want to get hurt, but they was like, we're going to keep you in shape. We're going to put you on the basketball team. So that's the type of politics you go through. That's why I'm telling all the kids that I talk to, if you're not getting the looks, if you're not getting what you feel like you deserve, don't stop working because of it. No. It's a life after high school. It's so many stories of people, they will probably play the end of their bench in high school, got to college, became stars, got to the G League and do that.
He like averaged 2 points a game, and then he
that's my boy, Jason Preston, I think that's his name. Yeah, he went to Ohio College. That's my that was crazy.
That's one hell of a story. Yeah, like, you averaged 2 points a game in high school. Next thing you know, you get what he did, a walk-on at D1?
Walk-on at a D1, walk-on at Ohio University, and killed. But the thing, he didn't even start killing freshman year. He still grinded. He got gradually better every year. So by the time he was junior year, he got drafted to the Clippers. Yep. So it's like, don't give up. So even a guy like Zion and Ja Morant, Zion didn't get on the radar to his junior year of high school for real, and then Ja, nobody knew who Ja was till college.
Yes.
Like, he played on the same team as Zion and AAU, but nobody knew who Ja was till college. So it's like, if you really got a passion and you putting in the work and you know how good you really are, it's no telling what you can do, especially in sports. It's so many avenues that you can go through in sports. Like, even if you stop playing, like you said, you play football, but now you're doing interviews because you have a knowledge for the game and you have a love for sports in general, to where when you talk to people, you just want them to get their passion off and tell the world, like, this is my story. This is how I got to where I got to, because it wasn't a simple path. It wasn't the simple play in middle school, play in high school, go to college, go overseas. Like, that's not everybody's straight line path.
And they got us thinking that's the only way to make it. That's
what
they got us thinking. That's the only way to make it. But there's multiple ways to make it to the league. I really want to talk about, like, you building a name for yourself. When did everything kick in? When, like, next thing you know, like, everything's taking off, and then, like, people know who you are. So
to branch off of the high school, the scholarships got cut, all that happened. I'm panicking. Like, I'm throwing all my track stuff away. My mama right there, she grabbed me. She said, let's pray on it. We prayed on it. I ended up going to a junior college in Georgia, Chattahoochee Tech, and my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, so I was trying to stay home and be close to her. The track team get cut. The whole team got cut at the junior college. Like they cut the track team and the football team the same year.
Wow.
So I was like, wow. And then I'm like, what am I gonna do? Crazy how God work. I'm in the gym doing what I usually do. Hoop, dunk a couple times after. I was dunking for fun. I'm like, let me see if I can do this. Like, do this.
Wait a minute. Let me go ahead and do this between the legs twice.
The college coach walk in, and he see me dunk just one time as he walk in. He like, you here for the tryouts? I'm like, what tryouts? He's like, the basketball tryouts is today. I hadn't been to that gym in like 2 weeks. So it's like the day I go, he like, the basketball tryouts today. I'm like, whatever, I'll do it. The first play, we doing the 2 down, 3 back drill. I dunk on the starting center. He like, oh nah, like, and then I end up getting on the team. I red shirt though, and that was the best thing that happened to me because I red shirt and my mom's sick. I'm trying to figure out how to get some money. I'm not playing, but I'm using the facility to work out and all this stuff. Excuse me. So I'm using the facility to work out and everything, and I'm like, how can I get to some money to help my mom, but doing what I love to do? Basketball been my love since I was 2, so it's like, how can I do what I love to do? Entertain and play basketball. And one. First thing I think about, I'm up late on my laptop watching the old and one stuff. Mixed crazy. Like I never forget my dad. Like this is why when you have kids, it's important to support their dreams, like whether they do art or whatever they do, take them to concerts, take them to museums, whatever they do, support them in that because it pays off in the end. My dad took me in 2001 to an and one game. All those guys end up signing my basketball and everything, and I was like, yo, like if I don't make it in the NBA, it's another route for me. It's fun. So it's like this is the perfect thing for me. Because I didn't know, I knew of the Globetrotters and all that stuff, but I didn't know about it yet. So
and the N1 had the thing when they was bring people on tour, and then like the audition.
That's what I'm getting to,
like
the open run. So I'm like, yo, was N1, like I knew N1 wasn't around, but at the time the guy they had created Ball Up, and Ball Up there was a Professor, Ayo, Sick With It, Bone Collector, G Smith had got on, and G Smith was a dunker that got on. And he was there with Air Up There, Mr. 720. And when I seen that, I was like, I can get on as a dunker. Like, I think I can do this. And it's ironic. I looked that up. 3 weeks later, they had a tryout in Atlanta. So I'm like, I'm going. I end up killing it at the tryout. And then it's funny. Gilbert Arenas was actually my coach when we did the whole game. This is my first time being in a room with celebrities, so Gilbert Arenas is my coach. Jamie Foxx was there. Like, this is a bunch of random people there. I'm like, hey, yo. I get a cramp in the third quarter. Can't even finish the game. I was so nervous, I only made like 2 of the 6 dunks I was going for. But my entertainment value and what I did, people was like, yo, it's dunk contest out here you should do. So I Google that. It was a Sprite dunk contest. I drove my car. I drove a 04 Honda Civic in 2014, a 04 Honda Civic from Georgia to Indiana to do this contest. I'm like, ain't no dunkers in Indiana. I'm finna win. I pull up, and it's a professional dunker there. The first person I see is the professional dunker legend named Justin Darlington. This is the guy, everybody think Aaron Gordon created the under both legs. This is the guy who created the under both legs at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, they had that on live.
He did it. He did the animations for live to put it in the game. So I was like, I done drove 9-10 hours, slept in my car to just lose. But I was like, nah, I'm here now. Like, my entertainment value.
What's that Denzel Washington interview? He's like, I'm leaving with something.
I'm from around the way.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Let's get to the gritty of the story because we here. So I drive there. I ain't never did this before. I ain't never booked a hotel, so I don't know how much it costs for a hotel. I didn't do the proper research. I just knew I had $150 in a dream. I was like, that's enough gas money. That's enough food money. Yeah. Whatever else, it's whatever. I've been driving for hours, not even thinking. My phone fall out my lap and break. So I go in the motel, they like, it's $50, $75 for a room. I call somebody, I'm like, how much would it be to fix my phone? $50, $75. Because I had a like BlackBerry at the time, so they just had to fix my screen. I was like, if I don't got no phone, I can't get home. Slept in my car in the hotel parking lot. Woke up, got my phone fixed at the mall, went to the dunk contest. I see Justin Darlington. I'm like, I don't care what happened. Y'all gonna remember, like, from that day, my mama always said something to me. She was like, anywhere you go, show up and show out. Like, that's her quote for me, show up, show out. So I was like, win, lose, or draw, y'all gotta remember my name. Like, you gotta remember who I am. So I do my dunks. Like, I was so stylish back then. Like, they was called, like, I had the mellow braids with the headband, but I was skinny and light skinned, so they was calling me Shannon Brown. I had
Shannon Brown
had bounce. So I was like,
both his legs too. Yeah, Shannon Brown got right.
So I was like, I've been had like this swag about me. So I had the 2 mismatched socks on, the Jordan 8s. I had the headband on. Like, I was rocking the sleeve, but I'm like, you dunking, you don't need the sleeve. So I took the sleeve off. But R.I.P. Daryl Dawkins. He was running the circuit as an NBA legend for the Sprite Slam Dunk Contest. He pulled me to the side. I got second place. He pulled me to the side after the contest was over and was like, listen, keep working on your dunks. And if you keep working on your dunks, the entertainment you bring, because, you know, he was Chocolate Thunder. He was eccentric with it. He was like, what you bring to this table entertainment-wise and dunk-wise, you'll go farther than I think you even think you will. Like, he looked at me and was like, you'll go farther than I think you can even imagine right now. And way God worked, they end up having a second place contest for Sprite. Like, all the second place guys, you can get voted in to go do a dunk contest in Madison Square Garden. If you won there, you got to go to the big contest that all the winners got to, because the Sprite contest went to a bunch of different cities, and all the first place guys got to go to All-Star Weekend. I did not win that vote. I did not win that vote. But the guy who won the contest, he was on the ABA team. He didn't want to do it. So, hey, Jordan, crazy part is, I was living bad at that time. Like, I got kicked out of school. I was hanging with the wrong crowds. You know how it is, just being young and just being influenced by your homies. You think these your people, and I got locked up. And God opened my eyes with that. He was like, you gonna go this route? You gonna go this route? I get locked up. I changed my life. The day I get out, I get an email. I think my mama picked. Because I got locked up. I went on probation, violated my probation. I'm supposed to get locked up for the rest of my probation, which was 3-4 months. I told the lady I'm gonna fail my test. Like, I was drinking. It was my birthday. I didn't know you couldn't drink. Like, she was like, oh, because you told me. Most people wouldn't have told me. I only had to do 2 weeks. I get out. I get an email. Hey, the guy who won first place in your Sprite contest does not want to participate, so now you are invited to bring one person to New York All-Star Weekend to participate in the Sprite Slam Dunk Showdown. I was like,
I bet your heart dropped.
I was like, I cried.
You
like,
looked at that email, screenshot it.
I cried. I'm cause my mama is still mad at me because of all this is going on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally cleaning up the house trying to make it right, and I see that, and I drop. Like, I just start crying and thanking God, and I show her, and she's like, what? Cause she didn't even know I had drove myself to Indiana till she watched the video, like, after that whole situation. And then from that moment, I met the guy who actually got to go to New York and do the Madison Square Garden one. His name is Leon Space Jam Sewell. He won, and he was playing for this team called the Harlem Wizards. The owner of the team went to that contest to see him. Mm-hmm. He saw me in the contest, and like Daryl Dawkins said, I was more than just a dunker. I was entertaining. I had an entertainment value about myself. So after I dunked, I was dancing, doing my thing. I get the crowd hype, and he seen that, and he invited me for a tryout for the Harlem Wizards. And that changed my life forever because that put consistent money in my pocket, and I was dunking every day. Like, not almost every day on the team. So I got better with my dunks. I got to try new dunks every day. Other dunkers. Yeah. So I'm seeing different styles and techniques. And after that Harlem Wizards, I got invited. The guy who actually brought me out here, Team Flight Brothers, he invited me to City Slam. I killed that. And from that moment on, I was actually going by flight at that time. But it was too many people using the Flight name. So I ended up,
Flight on YouTube.
yeah, it was too, everybody come up.
Yeah.
James Flight White. It was white flights. It was Asian flights. I was like, oh nah. So I ended up just going by Jordan Sutherland for a while. Like I was just Jordan. Like the nickname was just Jordan, and then it was Jordan Sutherland, and then I was just building my name, winning contests. 2016, I won my first contest, Aaron Gordon Dunk Fest at Venice Beach. That put me on the map because Aaron Gordon had just went crazy in the dunk contest. Like this is literally the year after he went crazy. So that put me in the public light, and people were like, oh, let's start booking this guy. So I started doing Nike contests. I did a Nike contest for Duncan the winner, Ashton Martin, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, and Tyreek Hill was the judges. Wow. So now I'm in front of this celebrity view, and they like, nah, this kid is dope. And like I was always humble. I'm like, how you doing, bro? Like I introduced myself to everybody. I was always a humble person. Like even when it comes to celebrities, I was never really starstruck because I'm like, we bleed the same blood. We put our pants on one leg at a time. You a human being like me. You just make more money than me.
I gotta go back to the crib.
I gotta go back to the crib. Like you make like you same as me. You just make more money than me. That's it. Yep. So it's like people respected me for that, and I started to build this respect in the dunk game, and I built my career up from 2016 when I won my first one to 2019. 2019 I thought was my peak. Like I won 10K in China. I had beat all the best dunkers. Like I was doing it. And as we know, what happened 2020? The pandemic. So all that work I had put in to be that best 1 foot dunker and do all this stuff, it halted. Now at this time, I had been with the same woman since I graduated high school. Like from my senior summer until then, I was with the same person. Got married, had my daughter. Oh, wow. I had my daughter 2019. So
how old are you?
I'm 29.
Oh, you 29? I feel like you live like 2 different lives.
Bro, I've lived plenty of lives.
You've been through a lot.
Like my passport before I would have been on my second passport now if the pandemic never happened. Like I was literally 4 pages away from filling my passport by 25 from the dunk game and just like I got to travel everywhere. China, Latvia, Sweden, Japan, Africa. I have been so many Turkmenistan, places I never thought I'd been.
Somebody from Georgia too. That's
like being a Southern boy.
Yeah, that's coming a long way.
I had never traveled past Chicago. Like we went to Chicago, Ohio. That's my dad from Ohio, mom's from Chicago. Right. I had never went outside of it. Maybe on a field trip to Tennessee. That's it. Like I ain't even been to Florida yet. I ain't even Bama 2 hours away. I ain't even go to Bama. So just being a Southern kid, I ain't never been out. So like even when they flew me to New York for that first time, that was the first time I ever flew without my mama. I brought my best friend Rolando at the time. So it's like my brother, he's just one of my brothers. So like I had brought him. So that was my first time being on a flight without my mama. So to travel the world and do all of this and build this career up and build this name up for myself and it to get halted. Cause I was trying to build for my family. I had the woman, I got my child in 2019. I had just won 10K. Like I come home with the check and I'm holding my baby. Like everything is up. I'm doing that my next Wizard season. Cause I was still doing the Harlem Wizards for my consistent bread and I would do the dunk contest in the summer.
Right.
So it's March. December, the season starts in September. It's 2020. It's March. We in New Jersey. We based out of New Jersey. We had a convention at the in Atlantic City. Everybody look at their phones, get the same notification. The NBA has suspended basketball for the remainder of the season. That hurt. We was like, we done. Once the biggest basketball corporation in the world is done, we done.
Yeah, and that's definitely scary. It's like, what's next?
But I was so good because I had just won the 10K. I was on the Wizards making a consistent amount of money a week. So my savings was straight. I was chilling. I was good. But the pandemic opened my eyes that I had been traveling so much. And this is one thing I want to say about relationships. If you're in a relationship and you really love that person, y'all have to continue to grow together. Like you got to make sure you take care of. Like that's why I got self-care on my knuckles. That's why I love the hat you got on. you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can be the best person for your significant other. So if y'all not taking care of y'all mentals by yourself, you project that on each other. And I didn't realize my relationship was getting more toxic and more toxic and more toxic till it got to the point where divorce happened. And we got divorced. So now I'm not dunking no more. I just got divorced. So now I'm finna be away from the money. And I'm gonna be away from my child, and I gotta figure it out. So going off of that, end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I'm not even hooping no more. I'm working at Ashley Furniture Store, delivering couches and furniture, stuff like building stuff like this in people's home. And
they ain't believe me. Like,
they was like, man, I was like, man, you wasn't none of that. And I'm showing them videos, and they like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm like, bruh, the pandemic. So I got a daughter to feed, but it's a rapper in Atlanta, R.I.P. His name was Trouble. He had a celebrity game, and he had seen my stuff on the gram before, and I did a celebrity game with him first. Her name, it was a WNBA player named Tip Harris. She invited me to a game, and no, it's Tip Hayes. My bad. I said Tia. You right. Her name was Tip Hayes, and she invited me to a celebrity game. Trouble was there. He was like, "Well, I need you in my game. Like, I need you to come to my game." And he don't even know. Like, RIP, I rock with him so heavy because them 2 games gave me the motivation to start trying to dunk again and start seeing if the world was going to open back up. And that's why I called Chuck, the guy, like I said, who runs Team Flight Brothers. That's like my big brother, because he was like, yo, anything I can get, I'm going to send it your way. Because he knows like how much how good I am at this, and how much I just wanted to keep doing the dunk stuff, because I was inspiring so many kids. I got so many DMs when I was on the Wizards and traveling, like, you stopped me from suicide. You helped me follow my dream. You helped me follow my passion. And through that, I found my purpose. Because one of the guys that I love right here, got him tatted right here, Nipsey, was from 2009 of rap. Nipsey, Currency, R.I.P., Mac Miller, and Wiz Khalifa. That was for, like how other people say Jay-Z and all them was they hustler music. That was they hustling. That was my music of motivation. Like all Currency, Wiz, and Nipsey and Mac, they was like, we about grinding and positivity, nothing else. So I brought that into the dunk world. So I was like,
who's your biggest idols when it comes to dunking? Like, who's the people you looked up to the most?
Besides my father, in the NBA, Vince Carter, of course. Like, I'm named after Mike, so Michael Jordan. Like, my mom a Bulls fan, Chicago. I watched all the Jordan tapes growing up. But watching the Jordan tapes introduced me to Shawn Kemp. Mm-hmm. And Shawn Kemp ended up being one of my inspirations. And then Dr. J, of course, like I found out Michael Jordan was inspired by Dr. J. So I went and looked at Dr. J. And then, ironic, on a little segue, I'm on Winning Time HBO playing Dr. J. So it's like, we'll get into more details about that later. But it's like, it's crazy how that whole scenario worked. But watching those guys, I wanted to fly. At first, because like I said, I was running from nicknames because I didn't want to be Flight, so I didn't want a nickname. But I'm like, LeBron got King James, Kobe got Black Mamba, Mike got Air Jordan. You need that name because that's your brand outside of yourself. Because I looked at it not as creating a separate entity. I wanted to separate Jordan Sutherland, the father, the man, and the dunker. So, as you see, I'm an anime fan. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z, the Super Saiyan God had just came out. So it's and I'm like, 1 foot God. Like me and my brother Jody, we was like, bro, we gotta come up with something. And he was like, yo, do something anime related. Like you love anime, like figure something out like that. And I'm like, 1 foot God. I think that might work. I didn't tell nobody. I literally wiped my whole Instagram page to like 3 posts. It was my granddad when he passed, my first dunk contest win, and this training video I was doing with my brother Dakis, because that was my actual hoop trainer. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm getting back into it. The moment I changed the 1 foot God, the first, I got like 50 comments. I didn't even know you changed your name, but the new name is dope. The new name is crazy. and it took off. It literally took off into people was like, it's to the point where it's funny. Like people call me 1 foot guy. People call me 1 foot. Some people just call me foot. Like some people, it's so crazy. Some people like, cause my dunk package in NBA 2K is Jordan Sutherland. But some people don't even know that like it's a funny, my lady showed it to me. It's a comment on one of my last videos. It said 1 foot guy doesn't have the same style as Sutherland. I'm like, bro, that's the same person. I'm like, oh, y'all really don't know that's the same person.
Yeah, that's cool though, because now people people looking for both. Like
it's a separate entity. So it's like, but once I did that 1 foot guy, it kind of also created this thing where I gotta live up to this now. Like like you said, so you the god of 1 foot. You gotta be the best. You better be the best 1 footer every time you show up. But it put this pressure on me. But I never felt that pressure. I'm like, I built myself up to be this. So it's like, I'm going to go out here and do it. And I was winning contest after contest, going to dunk shows and out dunking some of the best dunkers or keeping up the level par with the best dunkers.
Who's somebody that you want to dunk on?
I got asked this question once before in my life, and it's LeBron James. Point blank period, like in the league, LeBron. Like I look up to LeBron. I get my little cop bag that I do. Like my logo, literally my damn logo,
right here,
like Bron, like that cop bag come from two people, Sean Kemp and LeBron James. Like he put like that. So it's like, cause my dad being from Ohio, my biggest basketball inspiration is not even just dunking, was LeBron, MJ, and Derrick Rose. I watched Derrick Rose from high school, being in Chicago all the time.
It was
so
crazy with stuff Derrick Rose doing in high school. Like I feel like back in the day, it was rare to see people like that. Now everybody
windmilling and do. Derrick Rose was a specimen in high school.
He was in like middle school dunking,
windmilling like crazy. Like so that's the reason when I hoop, I wear 25 because of Derrick Rose. Like I literally like it because my nickname in Chicago is Poo Poo because I was a little chunky light skin and his name Poo. Like so it was like it was too many parallels and like. I changed my whole basketball style because of Derrick Rose. Like I used to be like, they used to call me Reggie Prince, Reggie Miller, Tayshaun Prince. I played defense, I was long, and I shoot. I'm not going to the basket. I'm too skinny, I'm too frail. I seen Derrick Rose, LeBron, and Westbrook. I'm like, I'm down here. I'm trying to kill somebody. The second half of my career, because I tell people I had two careers. I had the flight into Jordan Sutherland pre-pandemic. 1 foot guy post-pandemic is a whole different person. My mentality of what I wanted to do in the dunk game and who I wanted to be changed completely. So that's when I was like, I want people to be themselves. So that's when I started pushing me, watching anime more. And I'm an artist. I draw all my tattoos. I push like I draw more. I do music. I do poetry. I have other passions. And
talk about that. What's some other things that you like get into besides basketball? Because I know people expect you to say basketball
all the time. Like
so you draw.
Like that's that was my first love before basketball. Yeah. Like I started basketball at 2. I was drawing since I could pick up a marker. Like my daughter, everything. My daughter the same way. She draw and trace everything. So I know she got that aspect in her. So it's like even if she don't hoop, I don't even care. Like it's so many talents that I have that I could have went that route. But God chose basketball for me to inspire the world, and that's what I was supposed to do. But drawing was my first love, like, and a lot of people draw growing up, and they lose their passion for it, and they lose their talent. Like I know a lot of people that be like, I used to be like people just not like do like back in the day, it's too much. It's too much AI, and you can create on the internet now. So it's like nobody want to really pick up the pencil. Like even people who write raps, like you put it in your phone before you write it down, but it feels more organic when you write your stuff down.
About, like putting that on that pencil to the paper just makes it feel like
it's better. So like. I always like drawing, painting, like that was always one of my passions. So even to this day.
What made you fall in love with anime? Because I know Dragon Ball Z is big in a lot of people. I know Fox.
All 90s babies got into anime the same way. Yeah. Cartoon Network go off on Saturdays, 6 p.m., and Toonami would come on. Yeah. And Toonami had Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, all the animes that came out. I didn't even know until I got older, these animes that came out in the 80s, 90s, like the late 80s, like 86, 87, into the early 90s. So that's how I got into it as a kid. Like me and all my cousins, all we watched was anime and wrestling. That's all we was about was anime and wrestling.
Play the game all day.
Play the game all day. So that's how I got into that. And as I got older, I tried to shy away from it because once you get in high school, it's not cool to watch anime. It's not cool to be the anime guy. But by the time I got to my sophomore year, after my freshman year, I seen how fake people was. I was like, y'all got it. I was in video game club. I was painting faces. I'd be with the hoopers. I'd be with the football. I'd be with everybody because I'm like,
you gotta be like
we all humans. Like we all like the same things. Like I don't know why I gotta socialize it. Like high school was what has created this social gap. Like, and it's worse now because you got cell phones, Instagram, TikTok. All that it's so much worse. Like I'm literally on a social media break. Like only reason, thank God I seen your message was because I go on there, I promote my merch, I get right off. I don't look in no post. I go to my DMs, I repost whatever I posted from my One Foot Clan page, which is my merch page, and I'm off of it. I see who DM me, who trying to connect and work. Off of it. It's business. Instagram is strictly business.
I like that because you know what I'm saying. Mental health is key to everything. They don't teach us that in high school. They don't teach us the importance of being a man and having somebody to talk to, and it's cool to say, I got this on my mind. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with that. That's why you have all these crazy suicides and all this other stuff that goes on in the world because people don't feel comfortable talking to somebody else. It's not cool. It's not cool to express yourself. And I tell my little cousins, all my little homies that I know, I'm like, it's cool to express yourself. It's cool to let the other person know. It's cool. It's cool to be different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that you say you got into anime and you realize I'm gonna show that off. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me because that's how those people that's doing that is not looked at as cool. But really, at the aspect of it, cool means so many different things. It's not high school cool. It's not life. You know what I'm saying?
It's not this popularity contest that you think it is. It's really, to me, quote unquote, being cool is at the end of the day, like you say, just being yourself. If you your true self and people don't like I ain't gonna say it, but everybody remember that Bernie Mac quote. If people don't like you for who you are, F them. If people don't like you for you, you don't need to be around them anyway.
Exactly.
So
that's not the people you need to be around.
At the end of the day,
you gotta see who clapping for you when things go, and see who not clapping for you when things go.
You gotta it's certain people they in your corner for the right reasons. Like if people only praising you at your success, keep them away from you because when you fail, they be like, bro, this the positives of what you did, this the negatives of what you did. You ain't put in enough work to be prepared for what you was doing. So while you down on yourself, go put in that work. That's the people that's going to motivate you to keep being the best version of yourself in life. And as we get older, you're not going to have a bunch of friends, you're going to have, my mama say, you're going to be able to count your closest friends on one hand. You're going to have a lot of associates that you rock with them, you love them from a distance, but you can't be around them all the time because you know how they are. You can't. Survivor's remorse is crazy. But at the end of the day, not everybody's meant to go with you. You can't. How many rappers y'all see they start off, it's 50, 60 dudes on stage. By the time they get to their third year of their career, it's 4 people with them at all times. Chief Keef, a great example. Yeah. Chief Keef had all old block with him at all times.
Whole neighborhood.
Now when you getting arrested all the time, you going to jail all the time, and the people around you is not giving you the right information, not giving you the right positivity, the right guidance.
You got them old heads to teach you, you know what I'm saying?
This is the perfect example is a Ja Morant right now. I did an event with Ja 3 days before that happened.
I saw John T was really geeking you up.
So I did Ja, cool young homie. I did an event with him when All-Star Weekend was in Cleveland. So then when he saw me at the I did an overtime event, he was telling his dad hey, he the one out here, and they he got hyping me up only person to ever jump over Ja's dad was Ja, and he was like, I want you to jump over me, but it goes. Ja's dad, yeah. T. So it's crazy, but you can tell he's so young. People I don't like people judging him because you act like you wasn't young before. And you made your mistakes. You might not have, you made your mistakes at 23, 24. You wasn't even
too.
privately. He's in the public eye. And
like,
you're giving kids millions of dollars. You're giving these young men who's influenced by these NBA young boys and influenced by certain music
Hip-hop,
millions of
yeah.
dollars, like hip hop in general. Our leaders are dying.
And then you also think, like, as a black man, like, the odds are against us. So once we touch that money, it's like,
Oh, they want you to fail. They want you to do
that's how they make money.
Self-sabotage is what they want you to do in the black community. One of the things I look back onto and why I love Dave Chappelle's comedy is because every piece of comedy is supposed to have some realism in it. Mm-hmm. If you remember this, everybody remember the skit where black people got their reparations, and I never forget, he was the white dude on TV, the anchor, and he was like, the stock in, like, it was a joke, but he was like, the stock in rims and record labels and chicken had rose since we got our reparation. And he said something that it didn't sit out as a joke to me. He's like, it's just like they're killing themselves to get this money right, to give this money right back to us. Yeah. And I was like, damn, like, we don't invest in each other. We don't believe you. As black people,
it's the closest thing I've seen in a long time.
As black people, we'll go out here and spend thousands on Gucci and Balenciaga and all this stuff to fit an image in the public eye, and them clothes was never created for us. They don't even want us wearing it. Like when Gucci Man was like, I'm in Atlanta, dude. So when Gucci wanted to sue him for that, like they didn't want that to be their image at all. Yeah. And then so it's like now it's like rap is the main culture in music. Oh yeah, what had Amigos and all these and Pharrell do Louis Vuitton and all this stuff. And it's like y'all didn't want us at first, but they'll spend $1,000 on that. But your homie got a brand and he started from ground up, and you won't spend $40 on his T-shirt. Mm-hmm. He'll even give you a disc. You won't even wear it.
You won't even click on the website.
Well, on the website, the link, like, and so it's like we can't. Like I say this. Yes, the odds are stacked against us. I'm never gonna not say that. But until we start supporting ourselves and pushing each other, one of the communities I look at the most is the Asian community, the Asian Indian community. How many times you done went into a place and it's a whole center? The Asians own the Dunkin' Donuts, they own the nail shop, they own the convenience store, they own the gas station. They own that whole block because the brother and the cousin put their money together to get the gas station. They took the money from the gas station and gave their little sister the nail shop. They took all that money they got together from the gas station and nail shop and got the brother an auto shop. And we don't do that because we're not taught that. And that's what they're being taught, to brought up. Keep your family back. They don't want us to know this information. We had black communities. We had our own black banks. We had, like, they destroyed the first Black Wall Street. We had our own thing. They burnt it to the ground. They did, like, it's certain history they try to throw away. Like, they try to hide it. We've been like that since slaves started getting free. They've been on their own time, and we wanted our own stuff. So it's like, if we're not supporting each other, who is gonna do it at the end of the day? So that's one of the major things I want people to start doing, is supporting each other, be yourself, focus on your mental health, like all these things that we're not taught because they're trying to teach us to self-sabotage. Like,
tell me this, you've been dunking for a very long time, since high school, so you know that comes with injuries. Have you ever experienced a major injury?
The craziest thing, I've only experienced one, like, I thank God for this. Like, I've only experienced one major injury in my whole dunk career, and I broke my hand. I ended up jumping too high on 10'6", put my hand in the back of the rim, snapped it. Like, you can see it right here, that bump right there. Snapped my hand. Like, it popped so loud, the whole gym heard it. And I'll take my hand up. I end up actually dunking 11'8" with a broke hand, and end up winning that portion of the dunk contest. But then I ended up not dunking for months. But that actually created the style that I have now, because a lot of people have. If you actually watch my dunks, I really don't dunk with my right hand that much because of that. Like unless I'm doing my regular LeBron or
right-handed?
windmill, I'm right-handed. I dunk with my left. Majority of my dunks, my signature dunk, which is a 360 windmill reverse, I dunk that with the left. I do it my between the legs. I go right hand to left hand, and I'll finish it with two hands. Behind the back, I go to left hand. Like I do my under both legs with my left hand. Majority of my dunks is left-handed. My little scorpion, left-handed. I train myself.
It's so hard.
It's so I don't think
opposite hand.
even I jump off one foot, so I'm jumping off my left leg, dunking with the same side, like the same arm. That's why it's awkward. When you're supposed to dunk, you get that balance. You jump off this leg, dunk with this hand. I'm jumping off this leg and moving with the left. So that's why I'm like, I'm the 1 foot guy because I created this style. And another breakdown of my name that I wanted to get out there, that's why I'm happy I'm getting to do this, is a lot of people call it blasphemous that I put God in my name because there's only one God. I believe that. I'm the 1 foot God because the anime stuff, but also because God gave me this gift of 1 foot. That's why I got the praying hands tattooed on my jumping leg, because God gave me this gift to affect the world. So everywhere I go, I call myself the 1 foot God. I'm giving God the glory in everything I do, because without him, I wouldn't have his 1 foot talent. I wouldn't be here. So it's also giving him the glory while also tapping into my anime side as well. So it's like a double entendre. So it's like, it fits me as a good nickname because I'm the best 1 foot dunker. But I'm also got this gift from God. So it's a double entendre with that.
How do you get involved with 2K? Because I remember you telling me like you do the my player dunks and stuff like that. That's cool because I'm in the rec every day. And since you told me that, bro, I know the man that do the dunks, man.
Nobody ever believes how I got to 2K. I got a message on Facebook from one of the guys, his name was Zach, that works at 2K, and I thought it was fake. Like I you get fake DMs all the time on Instagram, Facebook, so I'm like, man. But I went to his page, like he hit me up, he was like, hey, we seen your dunks, we love your style, would you like to do the motion capture dunks for NBA 2K? We would love to fly you out to San Francisco, we'll pay you this much, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, man, this ain't 2K. Sounds too good to be true.
Don't reach out like this.
Not like that. But I went to his page. It's him with all the people that's done 2K before. It's him at the 2K office, all this stuff. So I'm like, let me message him back, see what happened. He messaged me. He's like, send me your flight info. I didn't believe it was true until they booked my ticket. I flew, and I'm at the 2K office, and this is people don't understand, I've been doing 2K since 2016. So from 2K17 until now, my dunks been in there. I didn't get my own dunk package until 2021 because I had upped my dunks. I started doing more crazier dunks, all the under both and double between the leg, all that crazy stuff. And they was like, oh, we got to update your package. And I'm like, the only way, because the only person who had their own dunk package was Jordan Kilgannon. And I was like,
I remember seeing him there.
Yeah, and I was like, it's no offense to him, and it's not even a race thing, but I was like, it's so many black dunkers who have done 2K. Why didn't they get their own dunk package? Like if Justin Darlington got his own dunk package, everybody would have known the under both was his dunk. If one of my guys, Worm, if he did the dunk package, people would have known that he's one of the creators of the scoop dunk. Like people don't know this information because we didn't know what we were not given this knowledge. Like nobody's telling us. His agent told him, hey, you're Jordan Kilgannon. They better put your name on your package. Them your dunks. Yeah, so when I did my dunk, so I was like, that you ever seen that bounce between the legs dunk? I made that dunk famous. Like
that's in the park.
That's mine. Like that's my dunk. So it's like my home, like it's a guy. It's a guy. So Kilgannon made it up on a low rim, and the first person to make it on 10. It was me and this guy named Smooth Ukraine. Mm-hmm. But I broke my phone. I was terrible with phones when I was younger. So, because I used to have anger problems. So I broke my phone, lost the footage. The day I was about to post it the next day, lost the footage. I go overseas for a contest. I'm like, I'm going to do it again when I get home. He showed me the video. He did it too. So at first they gave him the credit. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go do this dunk everywhere. And then all the high schoolers start doing it. Emmanuel Hansen, the one-arm dude, started doing it. And then I was like, I'm gonna put this on my 2K dunk package, and now it's solidified. So that
And they should definitely put more dunkers on there because, especially you in the park.
a lot of dunkers
all,
on there.
All that symbolizes from the park, hooping in real life in the park. So you got these kids out here that know some of the dunkers, and you got people out here that don't know the dunkers. They need their light too because they're making all this possible. They're making it happen. They emulating what goes on when they hooping in the park and putting it in the end.
But it also goes back to what we talked about we not being taught certain things. We not being taught. You like when I
we just see 2K like, oh, we gone.
like
Pay me.
I'm not afraid to say this. When I first did 2K, I got $500 from $1 million corporation. I got $500 from $1 million corporation to put these dunks in the game. To dunk for, I think I dunked for like 5-6 hours on that day. It's people that go work a regular job that made more than me.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I'm not. You thinking about the
wear and tear on
experience?
the body too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just thinking about like when you younger in the game. That's like some of the advice I would give to some of the younger dunkers. Like I know that like
So how do you approach things now on the business side? Since like you sound like you've been through it, you understand it, you got more information now. So how do you approach the business side now?
when like it's way different than the dunk game is actually way different than when I first came in. What it is now because of social media. When I first started dunking, when I first started even seeing dunking, all you knew was and one. And then when YouTube started, Team Flight Brothers, they had started boosting their stuff up. So that's all you knew was YouTube and seeing and one on ESPN or getting the DVD. I've went viral. I mean, I've built my pages up 3 times on social media. I started doing the dunks on Vine. When Vine was popping, I had almost 100,000 followers on Vine. Vine got taken down. I had my first YouTube when the jerk dancing was going on. I got that boosted up to 30-something K subscribers. Google took over. I had a Yahoo account. They took that. And then I started my Instagram. When Instagram got videos, I was like, this is going to get me out there. So every time I would hoop, I would start posting dunks. And then you build your name up. You would go do contests overseas. Like now you got to get an appearance fee to show up. Like we make it a point to be like, we're not pulling up for free. We'll dunk for an appearance fee, and then you get a prize if you win an extra bonus if you win the dunk contest, whatever the prize is, if it is a prize for the contest. But it was certain events. Back in the day, you pull up, you're not getting paid. You just took a 9-hour flight, a 12-hour flight to China. You lost the contest. You going home. You done spent money to eat all this. Now you going home broke with less than you came with. So nowadays, it makes no sense. So nowadays, it's like, you got to give me my appearance fee, and if you don't pay me what I feel like I'm worth, you don't get me. I'm sorry. It's no offense to like if it to smaller events because I used to do all those smaller events just to help them out, but it's also like just because this event is smaller don't mean it's less work on my body. Don't mean it's less wear and tear. So we can come to a middle ground, but it's only a certain minimum I can take. It's my body on the line. I gotta feed my family. I gotta pay my rent. I gotta pay more. I gotta do all these things. And what am I jumping for if I'm not able to do that? This is my job. This is what I do for a living.
Hell, y'all fly me up. I just want to see the scenery. I need some cash.
Yes, so it's like at the end of the day, especially now with my lady, she's actually my management. Like I'm signed to a couple agencies, but my woman is my management, and she no nonsense when it come to me.
Shout out to the woman, man.
Shout out to my lady Yvette. Support her and support me. Her she got a show on Tubi, Face Behind the Dream. Like her whole thing is turning your passion into a profession. Mm-hmm. So that's her whole spiel. So go support her, stream her show on Tubi, Face Behind the Dream. If you go to the merch site, facebehindthedream.store, my merch is on there. But you don't gotta just get my stuff. Support her stuff too.